Hello everyone, my name is Professor Rakesh Kumar Tiwari. Today I am going to take class Introduction of DBMS. So in this lecture we cover what is DBMS, what is data, what is the difference between DBMS and normal file systems, and what is the DBMS and RDBMS. So let's start. Before we going to start, what is DBMS? And now earlier days where normal file systems are working and programmers of particular language write program to manage data. In this process there are a lot of the problems arises like data redundancy, data inconsistency, difficulty in accessing data have security issues, data is scattered in different formats. So overcome this problem we need a software which manage data efficiently. That's why a software required, and DBMS shortcome all the problem of normal file systems. So let's start. What is data? Everyone knows today's scenarios data is very key to manage any kind of operations. So basically data is raw materials, raw informations. It could be number, it could be small unit of informations, and it can be used in variety of form like text, number, media, bytes, and it can be stored in piece of papers or electronics memory, etc. So when we process these data it become informations. In DBMS data is very important part to manage. So if you think it could be image, audio, video, text, all are the form of the data, and we can use this data to manage. Now let's move on to what is database. So database basically it is a organized collection of data so that it can be easily accessed and managed. You can organize data into tables in the form of row and columns, and index it make to database. It is collection of interrelated data which is used to retrieve, insert, and delete the data efficiently. It is used to organize the data in the form of tables, schemas, views, and reports. Here you can see that database is collection of interrelated data. That means in database all the data should be interrelated. Whenever we require, it can be easily retrieve from the database. Whenever we needed, we can easily insert, update, and delete so that we can work on efficiently. In nowadays, there are a lot of type of softwares which are used to manage database like MongoDB, NoSQL, Hadoop, SDFS. Earlier day, we can use database to manage data. So in the form of tables. So what is table? Table basically it consists from row and column where we can manage the data in the tabular manners, and all the row called entity and all the columns called attributes or fields. So for example, the college database organizes the data about the admin, staff, students, and faculty, etc. Using this database you can easily retrieve, insert, and delete the information of employees, staffs, and students. Let's move on to what is database system. So database management system is software which is used to manage the database, and various type of softwares are there like MySQLs, Oracles are very popular commercial database which is used in different applications. And DBMS provide an interface to perform various operations like database creation, storing data in it, updating data, creating a table in the database, and lot more. It provides protection and security to database in case of multiple users can use and data may be consistent. DBMS allow users the following tasks. First one is data definition, second one is data updations, data retrieval, and user administrations. It provides the flexibility to create data modifications and removal of definition that define the organization of data in the database. For this we use DDL commands where we can defining the structure of tables. Now move on to data updations. It is used for the insertion, modifications, deletion of the actual data in the database. Next is data retrieval. Basically, it is used to retrieve the data from the database, which can be used by applicant for various purposes. It is also useful for administration purpose. It is used for registering and monitoring users, maintain data integrity, enforcing data security, dealing with concurrency controls, monitoring performance and recovering information corrupted by unexpected failures. So these kind of the features we have performed by using DBMS. Various kind of characteristics of DBMS. First, it is used a digital repository established on a server to store and manage the informations. It can provide a clear logical view of the process that manipulate data. It contains automatic backups and recovery procedures. It contains ACID property which maintain data in healthy state in case of failures. It can reduce complex relationship between data. It is used to support manipulations and processing of data. It is used to provide security of data. It can view the database from different viewpoints according to the requirement of the users. These are the characteristics of DBMS. Let's move on to next slide, which is the advantage of DBMS. So all the drawback of normal system we can cover and it make advantage of DBMS. So first drawback of normal file system was data redundancy. What is data redundancy? Data redundancy means duplicacy of data. Similar kind of data is stored in multiple locations, that is known as data redundancy. So this was the one of the biggest problem in the traditional file system. To overcome this problem, our DBMS give surety promises it reduce the data redundancy. So by feature of DBMS, it control database redundancy. It control because it store all the data in one single database file, and that recorded data is placed in the database. It provide better sharing facilities where authorized user of an organization can share the data among multiple users. DBMS easy to maintenance. It can be easily maintained due to centralized nature of the database system. It reduces development times and maintenance. It provides backup and recovery subsystem which create automatic backup of data from hardware and software failures and restore the data if required. It provides different type of user interface like GUI, application programmers interface. That means it provides multiple user interface. So these are the advantages of DBMS. There are also some disadvantages of DBMS like cost of hardware and software, their size, complexities, and higher impact of failures. So these are the some drawbacks in DBMS. Now we move on to RDBMS. So what is RDBMS? RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. All modern database management system like SQL, MySQL Server, IBM DB2, Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft Access are based on the RDBMS. It is also called Relational Database Management System because it is based on the relational model introduced by EF Codes. So on this, data are arranged in the form of tables. How it is work? data is represented in terms of tuples or row in our DBMS. Relational database is most commonly used database, and it contains number of tables, and each table has its own primary key. Due to a collection of organized set of tables, data can be accessed easily in the RDBMS. Now we discuss about what is table. You can see that here the image, a table are given like a student ID, name, age, course, and there are different type of rows. So RDBMS database can use table to store data. And what is table? It is collection of related data entries and contain row and column to store data. A table is the simplest example of data storage in RDBMS. Let's see the example of student table. So here is the table name students. While we creating a table, first we need to uh, describe table name. So you can see that here the table name is students. So here four columns like ID, name, age, and course. So column part also known as attributes and fields, and here row describe entity or tuples. If you talk about in terms of relational database management, you can either you can say entity or you can say tuples. So what is tuples? It is collection of fields. And if you talk about what is entity, all the collection of attributes is called entities. So here different attributes are here, and we have to create primary key by using such attributes. Now what is field? Field is also known as attributes, and it is a smaller entity of the data which contains specific information about every record in the tables. In the above example, you can say that the field in the student table consists like ID, name, age, course. All are these called fields. And what is row or records? A row of a table is also called record. It contains specific information of each individual entry in the table, and it is a horizontal entity in the table. For example, the above table contains 5 records. So you can say either it is row or records. You can see this like first row 1 Ajit 24 BTech. So this is the one row that is known as either we can say record or entity or tuples. And what is column? A column is a vertical entity in a table which contain all information associated with the specific field in the table. For example, name is a column in the about table which contain all information about student's name. So particular field is also known as column. So you can see that here Ajit, Aryan, Mahesh, Ratan and Vimal all are the example of column. Here are the some important constants in our DBMS, and these constants are very useful while you creating a table and maintaining their integrities. So first one is the null values. If the null value of table specify the field has been left blank during record creation, it is totally different from the values filled by the zero or filled of the content space. So if you don't have any kind of values, you can mention here to null values. And otherwise is data integrity. As the name suggests, what it means? Integrity means accuracy or correctness of data. So DBMS provide some important integrity constants to make data secure, and there is no duplicacy in the table. So here different type of integrities are there like entity integrity, domain integrity, and referential integrity and user defined integrity. Entity integrity, that means it ensures that there are no duplicate row in the tables. While we use two table to create the database, Entity integrity is responsible for duplicacy of data. It maintains there is no duplicate row in the table. Domain integrity, it enforces valid entries for a given column by restricting the types, the formats, or the range of the values. Referential integrity specifies that row cannot be deleted which are used by other records. User-defined integrity, it enforces some specific business rules that are defined by user, and these rules are different from entity, domains, or referential integrities. Now we are going to discuss difference between DBMS versus file system. As already I am discussed there earlier day, to manage database we use file management system where different kind of problems are arises. So let's see what is the difference between DBMS and file system. First we discuss DBMS and then file system. So first point is, what is DBMS? It is collection of data, or it is collection of interrelated data and set of programs. In DBMS, the user is not required to write the procedures, while if you talk about file system, it is collection of data in which the user has to write the procedures for managing the database. Second point, the DBMS give an abstract view of data that hide the details, while file system provide the details of the data representation and storage of data. Third point, it is DBMS provide a crash recovery mechanism, like DBMS protect the user from the system failure, while files management system does not have the crash mechanism required. If due to any reasons system are crash while entering some data, then the content of the file will be lost. Next important difference between these, DBMS provide a good protection mechanism, while file system it is very difficult to protect file under the file system. DBMS contain wide variety of sophisticated technique to store and retrieve the data, while file system can be efficiently stored. DBMS take care of concurrent access of data using some form of the locking, while in the file system, concurrent and problem like redirecting the files which has some information or data. So these are the difference between DBMS and file system. Now we comparing what is the difference between DBMS and RDBMS. So you can see that there are some difference. So let's start one by one and discuss. So what is DBMS? DBMS applications store data as a file, while RDBMS application store data in the form of tables. Which means tabular form data are in the form of tables. In DBMS, data is generally stored in either a hierarchical form or navigational form, while in RDBMS, the tables have an identifiers called primary key, and the data values are stored in the form of tables. Point number third, normalization is not present in the DBMS, while RDBMS normalization is the present in the RDBMS. So first we understand what is normalization. So normalization is database design techniques by which we can remove data redundancy and functional dependency and manage data in efficient manner, so that whenever we need it we can easily maintain database, and we can easily insert update and deletions. All these operations we can perform whenever required. So basically RDB must follow normalization techniques to manage the database. DBMS does not apply any security with regard to data manipulations, while RDBMS are very keen concern to integrity, use integrity constants to follow the ACID property. What it means? ACID means atomicity, consistency, isolations, and durability. All these properties followed by RDBMS, where we can manage data very successfully. Basically, it is used for the transaction purpose. While we use transaction mechanism, we can use ACID properties. Now next point is DBMS use file system to store data, so there will be no relation between tables. While in our DBMS, data values are stored in the form of tables, so a relationship between these data values will be stored in the form of table as well. And the next point, DBMS has to provide some information, uniform methods to access the stored informations, while our DBMS system support a tabular structure of the data and a relationship between them to access the stored informations. DBMS does not support distributed database, while RDBMS support distributed database. So these are the some differences between DBMS and RDBMS. Okay, thank you, students.